game. Can SBTC continue, or actually complete this best of 3 and win their first ever series against GAM this year? Look at that amazing chroma on the Zek. I'm hyped for the Zek jungle. Yeah, it looks amazing. But my focus right now is on the early game in the bot lane, because remember last game, GAM set up everything for bot lane dives, and they played a very cool style where they were predicting the bot lane to win early push and then instantly double down. Levi, a bit spotted this time with DNK, invests in early ward to try and track Levi's jungle pathing a bit better. We're going to come back to see if that plays a huge role. But it's Xayah Rakan, a super strong level 1 combination, double W, or maybe even E and W, to force the early fights against the double ranged composition for GAM's bot lane. So a lot of this game, I think, hinges on the level 1 execution on the bot lane and who gets first push.
Absolutely. And again, I worry about what the Xayah Rakan are going to be able to do without a bunch of push. They're not going to have to leash, which is a great thing. I want to see them put some pressure onto Annie to kick off this game, because again, Annie into Rakan is not a fun matchup for Rakan. You bully that matchup because you have so many ways to prevent it. You have so much damage to pump into him. You have so much counter engage. You have so much engage that seems unrespondable if you are the Rakan. And so they actually don't take advantage of it basically at all. I'm curious also if Paulette learned from his mistake and has started for Q. No, he went for W to try to get engaged on a style so they could force it at the beginning of the game. They actually get half the health bar and the flash out of style
really
to kick things off. Great way to start the lane here. Well decided by Paulette, as this time I think Slater was also on board with the he saved his ability upgrade until right that last second to get that W for bonus damage.
And let's take a look at Levi's decision making now. He knows bot dive is almost impossible now. With this situation in bot lane, it's really unlikely to happen. So maybe he goes for an early level 3 gank in the top lane, and actually Xayah gets the better of Emperor at level 1. So this is now an opportunity for Levi to adapt his pathing and actually go, instead of towards bot lane early on, maybe try a top dive and bring Xayah ahead. After a horrible game 2 where Xayah ended the game at 2 and 9, I believe, in his stats, and just cost his team dearly. Maybe this is the opportunity now for Levi to get his legendary top laner back on track.
Might be the case. Okay. The wraparound starting to happen. Levi's going to put down a ward. He's going to get spotted, however, as Emperor gets have this warded out. It's going to have to be a very forced dive here from the 2. Counter-Strike should be back up any second now.
Oh, too early!
As Emperor hits the level 3. Will he get the Counter-Strike back up? Now Levi's in a really bad position. He's not going to chase him any further as both flashes expended. Emperor weathers the storm, trades 1 flash for 2, and comes out on top of that trade, as they are not going to be in a great position. Wave crashing as well on his side. That is not a great place to be. Xayah is going to get caught up with by Emperor here.
And look at the other side of the map. DNK actually foregoing his bot side camps and invading the enemy blue buff. He's gonna steal a blue buff on Zek into the matchup of Lee Sin. That's unheard of. Can he go for the dive? He has the auto reset of the dive, of course, on the Zek passive. But it's a bit too risky. He knows Lee Sin is reset, so he's just gonna walk away with 1 advantage on the buff side, which is already super good for this Zek, who's now he's still level 3. So not level 2, no 2 points in E to jump a little further.
Okay. Yes.
Oh, there's the level 4.
There's level 4. Going to be able to find the angle onto style. He's going to be able to grab him without the flash. There's nothing to do. He's going to get pulled back now. He's going to kiss a minion. And just like that, bottom lane delivers first blood. Does DNK over to his ADC.
What a play from SBTC, and this time we see them being able to plan through bot lane to adapt their style. They saw Levi go for the really risky early top dive, and what a punish from the side of DNK. He's gonna lose 1 camp, but who cares? He got his ADC an advantage. This was the big power spike in the last game, the big advantage for SBTC. Better ADC, better, stronger marksman in team fights, and they're set off to do the same again in game number 3 and finally break the unbreakable GAM.
This is exciting stuff. As a very good early game already coming out from the side of SBTC, we're getting really excited. There's still things to work about though, because right now the advantage on bot side is massive. You're already ahead on Xayah pretty significantly over top of style, but more importantly, mid lane's still going to get bullied. Kadi, all you have to do is get onto tier and you're perfectly fine in this matchup in mid lane. You're always going to be able to bully Cassiopeia with your range advantage. Top lane, Xayah has been able to shut out Emperor from farming super effectively at the beginning of the game. Yes, the gank did not work, but I don't think you're that pressed about that specifically if you're Kiaya, because you have this farm advantage to be able to work on. When you got armor, things can work really well in your favor. W mistimed by Emperor right there as Paletta showed up just in time, and Kiaya has nothing. Otto's going to pull him back. Colette gets it because of the Ignite, but they are able to kill off Kiaya with no teleport, so a massive wave is going to go back to the other direction. It's going to have to be caught by Levi.
Yeah, there's actually a little bit of timing now they need to nail, because they stole away a little bit of experience from Enper. So if they can't actually have Enper use the time where Kiaya is out of lane, Enper might enter with the experience disadvantage after the kill. So they need to play it correctly. They still 10 CS down, so this gank didn't really change all that much about the texture of the top lane matchup. And Slater is gonna lose a bit of his power advantage in bot lane, so overall not quite what they were aiming for. I mean, a kill is a kill. Oh, Palette, super aggressive, a bit too aggressive maybe.
Not sure what he was going for there, because again, the flash was shorted really dramatically over top of Style. Not to mention, actually the heal was down, so maybe you weren't looking for that, but thought he could find some sort of angle, thought that they could find some sort of counterplay. It is still a 12 CS advantage, and the kill going over to Slater, as Palette not going to find an angle for another battle dance on a Style. Instead, he's just going to free up his bot laner to do as he pleases. And it is unfortunate that the kill didn't go onto Enper, or at least onto DNK, and instead it went onto Palette. Palette is going to be able to buy boots and kind of get out roaming a little bit faster. Man, that W is just mistimed barely by Enper every single time. Just a 10th of a second later, and he'd be catching this every single time, because there's no way to stop the Counter-Strike at that point. And I think that's the timer he's trying to catch. He's just not quite used to it yet in this game.
This is the first huge positioning blunder for the side of SBTC. They needed to make this gank work, because now it opens up the whole of the bottom side for Levi to take whatever he likes. He's going to start with the dragon. He can invade into the enemy jungle if he wants afterwards. Now with bot lane shifting and having to play more defensively into Levi's pressure means there's a lot GAM can get on the back of this failed play in the top lane. Very costly. It would have been better not to show your jungler so as to keep the enemy team guessing where he was, because now with perfect information GAM was able to get quite a bit of an advantage in bot side of the map.
And I think if you notice there, it was a blue buff being taken by DNK. He's actually going to find a play on Akati, trying to find a Q. No, he's not going to find a Q. He has nothing to honor now that the minion went down as well. Yeah, that was, I think it was a bit of a miscall. I think DNK didn't Q immediately, and then immediately, D1's like, okay, I got to clear the way so that we don't get jumped on or anything like that. Levi with ultimate as well is a really dangerous kind of play here in the middle. And while there is an advantage currently sitting there, oh, that's massive. Levi gonna get knocked up. Q's not gonna find him. W's gonna go down, as DNK did have the aftershock, but what a play. Levi with perfect reads everywhere. Okay, I'll come back to this, because it looks like we're going to have a little bit more of an engagement. Palette's going to be able to find something. Feather is going to be able to root up Levi on the way through. Q is going to be able to tag him, and just barely they get the response kill coming out.
Top lane.
And Kiaya wins the top lane fight. You got to be kidding me, GAM. They're able to dig themselves out of a tremendous early game hole with just some really, really solid laning. I was talking about the Fiora winning in this matchup, but obviously Kiaya dominating the level 1 as just poured over into the rest of the lane.
Yeah, and what a play from GAM to come back in all different spots of the map. Let's take another look at the top lane fight.
This is just the top lane play.
And
you did W every single time.
Yeah, you said it last time they fought against each other. Last time it looked like, okay, it can happen, but it's happening too consistently now that he can't afford to miss these Ws every single time. And Kiaya in a good position to get a really strong hold on the top lane. Gold is back to even. First dragon going over to GAM. The game is back to a very contentious spot.
And I want to note the way that GAM actually played out that last situation was completely contingent on the misplays that came out from SBTC Esports. So first things first, DNK was on his blue, had the blue pulled into the brush. Kiaya steps into the opposing jungle, doesn't see the buff, assumes that DNK is on bottom side, which is why Levi, after the dragon, doesn't step into the bot side jungle, because he assumes that there's going to be a DNK showing up there. Then what happens with DNK? Well, he ganks mid lane, misses it because there's no minion, and that's why Levi, level 6, feeling confident, because they showed the level 5 Zac in the mid lane, and they say, hey, he took his blue buff, but he is not on the bottom side. He's now full clearing. Levi goes in, he's able to find that kill, and yes, it ends up getting responded against, but it also frees up Kiaya to make aggressive plays on the top side. GAM responding to information so effectively in this one.
And critically, also a bit of a misread for DNK, a bit of a pathing mistake, in my opinion, not pushing for level 6, because he had the opportunity to get to level 6, and that would have changed everything in the mid lane fight, because the ultimate available makes it so hard to dive past the Zac, and actually he's probably going to be able to counter at least one of the kills if he has his ultimate available. Instead, he was behind level 5 against level 6, could not even get close to Levi. Now he is a level ahead, funnily enough, but GAM already got the objective. This could be a big fight. No one knows who's there. Oh, SBTC with the... I think they have a slight advantage in terms of information, because Kiana doesn't know Palette is here.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Okay, Kiaya now gonna get... He has the Counter-Strike. W finally tags, and there we go, Emperor. He finally got the timing down perfectly, and DNK is gonna be able to cancel this out with Annie on the top side. They're able to kind of shut down DNK, make sure that the stun goes down, but they're gonna lose Annie as well, or the Tibbers as well, as that's a kill for Emperor, finally getting the Counter-Strike down.
Palette is playing out of his mind in this game. He's everywhere. He's channeling, he's in a B. He's showing GAM, yeah, I was on this team too. I won a title with you.
Like, how did you solo kill Kati there?
Flash ultimate. Look at the summoners. It was a flash ult. Kati got caught by the flash ultimate.
Under no circumstances should Kati be in flash ulting range on the Syndra though. That is, how does Dia1 find this outplay? I need that replay.
It's Dia1, man. It's Dia1 back against GAM. Actually, he was the GAM mid laner back in 2020.
Okay.
And that's
a very doomed situation. Nice W, but it's not going to matter all that much, as that's going to be a kick from Levi, as that sets up a kill. Finally, GAM gets something back, but the last couple minutes have been terrible. This is the mid lane play.
3 years after the fact. Dia1. Oh, it wasn't even flash. He flashes the W. Beautiful.
Holy.
Okay. A very nice play from Dia1.
Super good, yeah. And now, under the top tower, that's Ki, who's just getting pressured off. And
you see again?
Palette, man. They set up Slater for an early kill, and maybe it has doomed a little bit of the laning phase advantage that they had for Slater on the bot side, but it has completely changed the fate of the top half of this map. It has been insane to watch Palette go off. That first game was so disastrous. I was a little bit worried about the recon in this game, especially with the Annie, but man, Palette is making me eat my thoughts right now, as that is just not a problem in the slightest.
And Rebel, I'm sorry, but I need to talk about this, because these two mid laners came in 2019 for Dia1 for the most part, but they were the two prodigy mid laners, and it was actually Dia1 who won MVP, who was the one everyone was talking about, got solo kills all the time, but Dia1 never won a title. It was all Kati in the players. 5-time VCS champion now. Dia1 still hasn't won a single one, and he is here. He wants his title. He fell off. He got banned. He was mediocre last year, but he's finally back in his best form, it seems, able to solo kill Kati. This happened so many times when they met each other at the height of their ability in 2020, and maybe now it's time for Dia1 to be the Kati of 2020 and deny GAM their title, because back then it was Kati on Flash, always being second in mid laners, but always winning the title against Dia1 on GAM.
And think about, in that circumstance, exactly who else is kind of on the team, because you sit there with the equivalency of like Slater and Palette, who are the members on that Team Flash squad. It wasn't DNK, it wasn't Emperor, it was Yoshino, it was other members of the squad. It was Ego at the time. But maybe there's an opportunity. That's a nice play. And Palette, with gorgeous setup, is able to do quite a bit. Palette has to flash out the other side of the fight. Now Slater has the ability to auto-attack Levi. I don't think he's going to be able to catch him yet. The Warthog gets him out of range of that E coming through. And Zin is going to get caught up now.
What?
He flashes back. What a play on the Zac. DNK, where's this champion been? All split, man. You've had all split to pick this and show off this insane skill. And instead, he's gone to everything else. Finally busting it out, the dark tech necessary, gets out of dodge as well. No chance for Levi to pick him up, as it's a 3-4-0 for the side of SBTC Esports, as Emperor also in the side lane just continuing to crack away at towers. Yoe!
They're dominating right now.
Kiaya getting stunned up. Now Dia1 has a chance to throw some damage at Kiaya. He has to jump back in.
One Q and he can kill.
Potentially getting something, any amount of additional damage. Now Kiaya is the worry of everything else coming down. It's not going to happen. Instead, they're going to break. But again, plays all over the map, going the way of SBTC Esports. Potential counter dive here from DNK to make sure. Will he dive for it? Will he go for it? They don't have vision. They don't know he's there, so I don't think he can.
And I think this series has had two of the most impressive mechanical plays I've ever seen DNK do. And DNK is known for mechanics, of course. His engage sense maybe not the best, but what is going on with his tank mechanics in this series? First, he blocks the crucial Q in top lane last game for Lee Sin. Now that flash Q was one of the coolest things I've ever seen a Zac do. Hopefully we get to replay in slow motion, because that took me completely off guard. Look at all the stats here. 4-0 for Slater, 2-0 and 5 from Palette. They are winning everywhere in terms of fights, but they're bleeding a bit of objective gold now. GAM has not given up. Look at them. Yet another kill, yet another tower is going to be secured in bot lane. They have 2 dragons already to their name, so they're actually not far behind, even though the kill score reads 8-3.
It's insane to think about. Okay, Emperor's also going to have to lane against Kadi here, despite being down a very significant amount of experience. 2 full levels to Kadi at this moment. Probably not 2 full levels, but close to 2 full levels. But this is the point in the game where it feels like GAM wants to start collapsing with numbers advantage, and that is what Fiora takes advantage of best. As top lane tower, going to get aggressive against DNK and DL1, going to clean this one up and get some gold back here for the team. Palette's here on the hover to make sure there's no shenanigans to come about. And instead, that is just a trade of towers bot for top, with Emperor having a chance to push up on the bottom side in response to anything else coming out from GAM Esports. They're resetting now. 30 seconds until the Rift Herald, 2 minutes until the Dragon. Have a very legitimate kind of icy slope that they're standing at the top of, that they could either end up snowballing down, or they could slip off of it very easily if they overplay their hand on some of these objectives. And so this next couple minutes is going to be real interesting as we get not only side lane pressure with like Emperor, which is just now going to kick back up. Ki is heading down there to respond, but I don't think he's going to be there in time to save the tower. And again, these neutral objectives that are going to be oh so important, especially with Soul Point on the board.
And we need to examine how they play the Dragon, because last time they were facing this exact situation. They were oh no, Emperor a little too far forward, but he gets reinforcements.
Okay, a little bit of reinforcements on both sides. Ki is actually taking quite a bit more damage, and DNK waiting for something. Kick! Get Emperor out of there! And if Levi has to flash back on top of him just to get him within range of that Q coming through, and now DNK with a bit of peel pressure, everything is going to have to come together. I think DNK is going to have to be the sacrificial lamb. Here comes Black. He's going to be able to catch something. No, he is not. Ultimate's not going to be able to get there in time. Palette's going to have to pull away, as that's going to be a massive win for GAM as they get the jungler. It's Emperor. I think Emperor committed too late. He was trying to back for a bit, and then he says, okay, I can go get the tower. Yep. And because he pushes too late, he ends up costing DNK his life. And as a result now, GAM has first look at Dragon and at Rift Herald. I think they can ditch the Rift Herald and just go right to Dragon in 50 seconds and say,
it might be a bit too early. Rebel, it might be a bit too early for the Dragon to actually meta, because look at the vision setup is still in SBTC's favor, and DNK is already respawned, so he can walk out of lane with a few more pink wards if he chooses. So this actually didn't go that well for GAM in the grand scheme of things, because it doesn't really matter to kill him. They didn't even get his passive. Yes, they got his ultimate. That could be the deciding factor, but they also invested some of their ultimates. Xin, for example, his ultimate might not be available. Levi should be, looking at the cooldown, but instead, they're on the aggressive again. SBTC looking for the kill.
Trying to find something, nothing for DNK to auto. God, he's able to kind of ditch out. And a question of whether or not they want to go for the kind of fight around the Dragon. Ki is on the other side of the map with nobody to respond, so it should just be a tower. So it kind of has to be SBTCE taking a fight before there's any sort of engagement that Ki can join in on, which is the fearful part. DL1's going to try to push up mid lane to get some sort of better angling here without mid lane push. It's going to be more difficult for GAM to kind of swallow this this potential Dragon loss pill. And because of this, I mean, now the push-up mid lane is going to be responded with a bit of Dragon pressure, a little bit of mid lane pressure. Everybody scattered to the wind on the side of GAM there for a second instead of staying in the river because they wanted to push up bot lane.
Really good, well played
now. Emperor is on the other side of the map as well. Again, they're playing the neutral objective really effectively, playing with all of the heartstrings of SBTC Esports, trying to prevent them from kind of focusing in one area at one time. It's going to have to be a TP in from Emperor. There's the TP coming in. 5,000 health on the Dragon remaining. Palette pops the Shirelias just to try to get out of range of Kiaya.
Oh, DNK committing?
DNK is going to jump in. He's going to find something. Auto attack. He's going to pull up Levi. Will they get anything else ultimate popped as well? They're going to try to kill Levi. It's going to go down, but there's no smite available. They're going to end up getting the Dragon. They're going to deny the soul point coming through from the team. And DNK had the passive up just at the end of that one, as Kiaya is getting autoed to death now by Emperor and by Slater. Counter-Strike's going to get him out, but Emperor's not going to get him away or let him get away, as that's going to be 2 kills here for the side of SBTC Esports, and the Dragon denied, as well as internal pressure here. They're going to look at this potential mid tower as another objective. Style still here for wave clear, and they're going to be able to save it, but that is a big loss for GAM. They felt like they had so much control, so much setup, and it just paid off for nothing, as DNK, the hero of this game, gets into the pit to make the Dragon steal happen.
And GAM played everything about the Dragon so well. They set it up for success like they did in game number 1, where at the 2 Dragon situation, SBTC was there to win the fight, but they lost the Dragon and it cost them the soul in the end. This time around, they win the fight and they win the Baron. So now SBTC in firm control of the game. Yes, the gold is still close, but it's actually in favor of SBTC. They stopped the Dragon Snowball, so now the easy trade of Soul against Baron that always opens up so many things for the winning team is not available for GAM.
No.
With all the items and all the kills coming in for SBTC, I think they are now the favorites to win this game.
Very much so. And you can see also, I love the little cheeky kind of ending to that play that we caught on the replay, which is that Emperor finally gets the Counter-Strike timer down. He flash Q'd before it was down. It went down the second he landed the Q damage, which means that Emperor has learned and he has scaled in this game to understand better what is going on, to the point where he is feeling better in this one-to-one matchup as the Fiora into this Jax. Slowly, also, I mean, you look at the scaling of items that have kind of come through. Horizon Focus almost done for Kadi, but it's Ceres and Rod of Ages now done for DO1. You've got almost 2 completed items. I think the the Quick Blades are going to come out here very soon for Slater, as this team continues to ramp up in terms of strength. Mid tower getting sieged against again. Levi is able to find a Q on a Slater. Will he look to engage?
Palette?
That's a lot. Palette kind of falls underneath the
He's
tower.
alive.
He's alive for now. He's not going to be able to find any sort of escape there, as Levi was able to find him with an E. No objectives on the map. Doesn't really end up mattering all that much here, but it is a bit of a push for GAM to be able to kind of make happen. They're going to have to split off Emperor to ensure that the Jax isn't getting anything, so it's a 3v4 here in the mid lane. Ultimate from Slater popped as well. Again, this is all off objective timer, so it doesn't really matter, but GAM was able to kind of prevent any more additional kind of plays coming through from the side of SBTC Esports, which is a win in its own right.
Yeah, so long as GAM can't get the Baron here, it's all fine for SBTC, but they will run at the Baron. I like this very much because they did force out crucial ultimates. They forced them back on map positioning, so now it's way easier for GAM to just run at Baron, and SBTC might choose to give this one up. They haven't yet. SBTC is still toying with the idea, and as DO1 is on the other side, this could be crucial for the whole game. Look at him!
Okay, that's big. That's a massive play from DO1, and a lot of damage going down. On the other side, DO1's able to find at least one, but now the reinforcements kind of coming in. Emperor and Slater are still here for lots of damage to potentially come out. Kadi's going to get chased down here by Emperor. Doesn't have a scout of the week quite yet. Let's see if they're able to grab a DNK over the wall, and that's going to be Kadi completely devastated. The counter, the repose coming out, as well as it's the Baron play shut down. GAM trying to find something to do on the map, and just are not able to get anything safe. As now it's actually, potentially SBTC Esports who could look at the Dragon, the Baron, the Baron, look at the mid tower as well. They're going to start it up very easily. They've got more than enough damage for it. It's a question of whether Levi can stay here to kind of be a bit of a thorn in the side of SBTC Esports, stay here long enough to contest for the Baron. Here comes Zin. Here comes Kiaya. The reinforcements have arrived. Styles still a ways out, but the Hex Tech portals are going to help them out quite a bit. Tetherpool is available. DNK still has Smite available. Levi goes jumping in, trying to prevent anybody from being here. That's going to be a take of the Baron Astor by Style, who's going to be able to get something back. Now SBTC Esports, they're going to have to get away. DNK actually got quite a bit of supporting damage right there. He's going to go into passive, and now Palette is here. DO1's here for the reinforce as well. Will the miasma be enough to actually get anything done? No, it's not, as they don't have the damage for it. And somehow GAM's plot armor comes back to save them once more. Yolway, as the Baron goes their way.
Wait, where I live, you're not allowed to dance today because it's Good Friday, and SPDC committed the cardinalist thing, and they actually went for the Dragon Dance, Baron Dance, back. Why would you continue there? You know the engage is coming, and the steal doesn't even, it's not even Levi who has to steal the Baron. Instead, they get it easily with Styles combo. Now Baron and 2 kills back for GAM. They get an instant mid tower, and suddenly GAM get the huge swing. They're back in control of the game.
And even worse, DNK didn't even actually press his smite in that circumstance. DNK, he wasn't there. He didn't have it happen. It didn't work. Again, Levi's the one that smited in that situation, dropped it to 139 health, and got the E down for Style. So it was just layering of damage properly here from the side of GAM, who gave quite a bit of breathing room. I would still say that they're not quite in full command of this game by any standard at all. If anything, it's right back to an even state. But goodness gracious, that Baron take was their saving grace. If that goes over to SBTC Esports and they get out with even 3 members, they are in really prime position. Now, Soul Point, once again, PAK, does he have another hero play? Can he do more?
Doesn't have his passive.
He can. Yeah, they're going to have to just bail on it. Yeah, that's Levi getting it with the execute of the Q and the smite coming down. And SBTC Esports now under threat of Hex Tech Soul, under threat of GAM beating them in the late game once again after such an amazing early game. What do they have left in the tank?
They do still have a super accelerated Slater. He's 4-0-2. He has 2.5 items ready. He could be the deciding factor yet again, as he was in game number 2. It's not quite as easy for him to carry as on Zeri. He does have a good supporting cast, though, and I still believe in DNK, because he has shown a really high-quality Zac game. But GAM, of course, will not ever let up. That's an inhibitor pushed in the bot lane. But will they overstep? It's a bit risky, but Zaya's not here. That's a free inhibitor.
That it is. Really easy to take this as Baron is available for this squad. They're trying to keep everybody out of everywhere. And the bottom lane inhibitor is valuable, like, don't get me wrong. Objectives are going to be back in 4 minutes, so they're going to have the ability to push that forever. It's going to set up their next dragon really effectively, too. But, again, SBTC feels like they still have so much power in this composition. I really want to see gold values. That's what I want to see. I want to see who has been kind of scraping together gold, because it feels like Levi has been the one that's been the beneficiary for a lot of this kind of mid-game play. And I want to see where the gold is distributed, because if it's not Style picking up kills, if it's not Kiaya and Kadi picking up kills, it could still be troublesome in a pure 5-on-5 if SBTCE gets a really solid team fight. So I would love to see where we're at in terms of gold distribution on these two teams.
And unfortunately, it feels like on the side of SBTC, some of their members have been a little bit stunted in their growth. Look at Dia1. How is he only level 13 after a solo kill in mid lane and such a good mid game as well? He should be way higher in terms of levels, in my opinion. So the same goes for Enper. It feels like they've overgrouped maybe a bit in the fear of getting caught out, which hasn't happened, to be fair to them. Not as in game 2, where 2 members just died in mid lane, opening up the Baron for GAM. This time they committed to the fight, so that's an improvement. But it has cost them a bit of their experience advantages in some of the lanes.
It has. Now 3,000 gold at deficit. We're going to get a chance to see items at least. And it's still Slater with a bit of an advantage over top of Style. Probably a little bit. Not a massive one by any standard, but still a little bit in that regard. So Levi sneaks behind Slater. He's going to have to force out the Zaya ultimate now into everybody. Polite finds a really big knockup, and DNK gets more. But there's no damage follow-up at all. Zin almost falls, but that's about it. No Dia1 there. And that's going to be a flash. Ultimate onto Slater. Not going to find him is Kadi. They expected too much more of the damage coming out. Emperor's now below half health. It's just Dia1 here to be able to help kind of salvage a bit of this play. They're going to be able to keep mid tower up for the second. But there's so much damage that just came out of GAM. So many members got threatened with death right there. A difficult situation to be in. And that was on their engage. They were trying to find something, but they have to layer their players together, Yulway. They cannot keep doing this.
It looks more and more like GAM is taking back control of this game, just playing super assertively, relying on their engage, on their long range, on all the tools they have to threaten Slater. Look at him, lost all his defensive things he could do. He doesn't have flash, doesn't have any summoners available, no ultimate to him either, so now very vulnerable in the next team fight, especially with Zin's ult and flash available. He will have to look out for that any engage. That's super pesky. Also, Kiaya's ultimate can always follow up with the E on top of him after respawning off the ult. DNK forced to ult as well. It's just resource after resource invested just to walk away, limp away to your base, and at some point that's gonna crack. They need to find a better engagement, need to find a better fight for themselves.
It's SBTC that feels like they need to find themselves the fight rather than GAM finding the fight for them. The gold lead has not gone up, it's actually gone down, so maybe a little bit of breathing room here kind of gained, but only 38 seconds now until the Baron's going to be up. Emperor on the other side of the map is getting run down by Levi. I actually don't know that Levi wins this outright. Okay, that's a TP. That's actually a really big play if they're unable to grab it and grab this. Ultimate gets popped by Emperor.
Oh, that's
He's
so
gonna
much
get
damage.
too big. Like, Emperor's destroying Levi. This is a really big problem
Zin!
that they have to be worried about. Zin is going to find a way in. Now, no riposte chance here from the side of Emperor, as he wasn't able to do it at all. DNK was ready available with that, throw in as well, as now Feather's going to be set up by that. Levi is going to be having to dance around. DNK just getting auto-attacked to death, has to flash away from Levi's follow-up. As again, that time it felt like Emperor almost would have been more beneficial trading against Levi and trying to use that riposte more effectively just to get a 1-for-1, because you'll take that all day. If you're Fiora, you take the jungler for your life all day long. As Palette gets ulted here by Kadi, now Slater wants some more. They're going to try to find some damage onto Levi, who hadn't ulted quite yet. DNK's going to be able to pull him in.
Look at the other side.
Playing the back line is Dia1's getting able to do 2, as that's going to be everything. The bot lane here is going to get run at Style, and Kadi trying to find some damage. DNK is going to jump in. He's going to get stunned up in the middle of air. He still has the ultimate to be able to work with, and now Dia1 has to do all the damage. Palette's going to stun him up, as that's TP coming in from Emperor to be able to help out in the fight, as now everybody back for the side of SBTC Esports. Kadi is going to get jumped on, goes into Zonius at the last possible second.
And
He blocks it. He's going to get away from the counter-strike. And now Kiaya, Zonius in on the front line. Styles going to be able to find one. But everyone from GAM is going to go down.
Can
and
they do
out
it?
of nowhere, SBTC Esports finds the win that they need. At minimum, they're going to be able to stall this game a little bit longer. TP back to the base by Dia1 to find something. But they should be able to grab up the Dragon. 8 seconds left on Levi. I think they have the damage to do it. It's a question of whether Zin can stall them long enough to get Levi there for the soul point, because they need to ensure that that does not go down to the side of GAM.
Oh, it's getting more and more dicey, but SBTC find second win. Oh, Zin, can Zin steal it?
There we go.
So
Has to press the
close.
ultimate cleanse. Zin might actually just get autoed to death here by Slater. Slater's going to find it.
They're
He doesn't
so
have
strong.
Flash available. Yeah, he's got to be here with on top of
Oh!
Dia1. No
Dia1!
way! He just kicked him to safety, and Dia1 blocked it too!
Oh, SBTC is finding play after play. Slater is an insane carry, but Tier 1 in that fight was unbelievable too. They are 18 to 12 up in kills. They prevented the soul from falling yet again. I need to see the items because I need to see how strong everyone is. He has a Runance, yes. He doesn't have any armor pen, but the enemy team has no armor, so why not? He's hitting all these melee champs. It makes a lot of sense to me. He hits Tibbers as well.
It's more of it. I haven't seen Rance forever
true,
on
yeah.
Zaya. It just doesn't apply feathers. It doesn't do all that much. But obviously, being this massive team fighter is so important to Slater. Having that kind of external damage to multiple targets has been so much more important, as well as getting the additional healing, because that's also been really imperative. As suddenly, the game back to basically even footing. The Baron is started. I don't love this. I feel like SBTC should slow down a little bit. They don't need to take the fight. They have all of their ults up, but their summoner spells are completely shredded to the wind. And there we go. SBTC understanding my feelings in this circumstance, sympathizing the way that empaths might. And there we go. SBTC Esports is not going to throw the game on a Baron flip yet.
Yet again.
Here we go. DNK
On the
jumping
chase,
in,
though.
looking for something. Paulette also ulting to try to find Zit. Please, guys, relax. For 1 second, do not throw this game. You still are in the thick of it. You don't need to go blitzing for crazy plays. You are fine right now.
Teams not throwing against GAM post 30 minutes challenge. Absolutely impossible in VCS at least.
Impossible.
Till now, SBTC has survived to a third game against GAM, is in a good position to win the game. Yes, they're down, still in gold, but look at their comp. They have Zaya against Varus. I favor Zaya in the late game. They have a Cassiopeia who's hitting level 16. Look at her. She's super tanky. She's very hard to get by. They also have a Zac who's probably a little bit more impactful in the team fights. So just looking at the champions, I really like their composition and their chances in front-to-back team fights. Now, there is one secret factor for GAM, one wild card in the team fight. That's on our screen right now. Kiaya, level 16 on the Jax, but no time for that as we have yet another Baron.
Not at all. Yes, the Baron attack this time. I think it's a little bit harder for Leo to try to get in. He has to steal this if they want to.
Too late.
He's not even gonna get a chance. Oh my goodness. And now flank from Kiaya trying to find something. Paulette with an amazing ultimate. He has to get the rest of his team out. I think he just has to be the sacrifice for him to get everybody away. Emperor's going to get out. Slater's going to get out. Paulette's going to get out. Kick from Dia1 is going to get him disengaged, but it's not going to get him completely out. As 3 members of SBTC Esports are going to live. Do they have the damage to the base?
Oh, triple stun!
With a Q flash. Now Slater has to press the ultimate. His feathers might be enough to try to dissuade everybody else from coming in. And that's going to be everybody gone. No waves are in position for GAM to punish this effectively. So it's just 3 Baron buffs. They might just tank it, honestly, try to pull some sort of tower, the bottom lane inhibitor or something that they could go get, but I don't think that's massive yet because the wave is so far out that I don't think they can get into the base in any significant fashion. All SBTC has to do is stall for 20 seconds to get their remaining members back, and they will be in an advantageous position. They can contest for the 3rd dragon your way, and we might go to a 7-dragon game with multiple Barons in our 3rd game of the day.
It's inhibitor traded against Baron. Usually that actually favors Baron if it goes for the long run because you can push out so easily. You get extra stats, you get gold there. Dia1 gets put down at the start of the fight. He can't impact anyone whatsoever. They all decide instantly to run, which I really like. They didn't overstay. They didn't all die there. This could have been the end of the game if they think they can fight. The game ends there, but SBTC made the call, okay, we're gonna sacrifice 2 members, we walk away with Baron, we probably lose an inhibitor, but nothing more. Now they're in a good position, even on all the map things they need to care about, and the dragon is spawning in 1 minute. With Baron in hand, they should get mid push first. They have the stronger ADC, they have the stronger mid laner, at least when it comes to controlling spaces, so This should be another dragon for SBTC, and then it's 3 against 3 dragons. So it's getting more and more fiery in here.
This is crushing me right now between these two teams. It's such a fiery game. And you have to think, if you're GAM, trying to keep this undefeated split, it's part of your mental at this point that you've just been so undefeated. You haven't really been tested in all 3 games yet over the course of the split. And this has been your hardest game yet against a team that you're going to be playing against in playoffs at some point, or very likely to be playing against in playoffs at some point, between them and Team Wales as the 2 teams that have pushed them the hardest over the course of the split. They're going to have interior pressure in the jungle. They actually might look for a fight more than anything else. SBTC Esports doing the right thing and pushing up mid lane, but Emperor, if you notice, is on top side with his Baron buff, throwing himself at the top lane towers, trying to get something. They have to be
GAM
cautious.
Wants to rush.
Again, as they should. They 100% should. Emperor's going to be TPing in now for the back of the fight. E is going to go over. Levi's going to be able to jump in. Or DNK is going to be able to jump in. Now it's a battle for who is going to be able to get the smite off.
Look at Palet!
DNK live long enough. Emperor's going to be able to get on the back line. Sky is going to be able to push out Slater. And now the Dragon's just going to go down. That's the sole point. Now the question is the fight afterwards. DL1 gets nothing with the ultimate, as they're going to have to back away. SBTC Esports. That's Levi with a massive kick! And everything else followed up with Kadi. And that's going to be Feathers out on the map. That's going to be Guardian Angel pushed down for Levi.
So many feathers.
A lot of damage. DNK is going to go down as one of the 2. The other one, DN1, is going to go down as well. And now, honestly, if you are on the side of SBTC Esports, they're pushing in on the bottom side of the map. You have to get somebody back to defend that. And otherwise, this game is just chalked. They're not going to be able to find a way in. TP is going into the bot lane right now. You have to get somebody back to the base immediately. Emperor's going to be the only one back.
No way!
There's going to be 3 members into the base, and GAM has done it! GAM has found the win, Yole! It's so unfair! The plot armor just never seems to fail, as GAM, in their hardest best of 3 of the split, still comes out on top!
Unbelievable! They've done it again, Rebel. They just can't be stopped. Even in this game, they had